it's Iain from RTO here. Welcome to another Then and Now, the show where we look at bands' first and last or current album and quickly go through the discography, picking out a few of the tunes that were really good. And as I'm talking to you, it's actually snowing in Northampton. Yes, we have got white stuff, not much, but it's still snow. Unbelievable. So today we're looking at a band called Warrant. Now I know there's two bands called Warrant. There's a German speed metal band called Warrant, but we're looking at the American glam metal band, formed in 1984 in Hollywood, Los Angeles, California. They experienced a lot of success from 1988 to 1996, with them 5 albums reaching international sales of 10 million copies. The band was formed by Yanni Lane, Joey Allen, Eric Turner, and Jerry Dixon and Stephen Sweet. So their music is it's that typical Sunset Strip sound of the late 80s, featuring those nice heavy guitars, melodic, catchy choruses. If you like your glam rock metal, you're going to like these. I mean, they were very good. I remember them, one of their albums being really good. So their first album was called Dirty Rotten Filthy Stinking Rich. It was released in 1989, and this album, before it has had some controversy over the years. It all started off that a rumour that the guitarist Eric Turner and Joey Allen didn't play a note on the album, and it was all done by the ex-Streets guitarist and session musician Mike Slammer. This was never ever really confirmed. It was just a rumour. But in 1998, Slammer's wife confirmed that her husband had played on the album. And then Mike himself stated in interviews that he played guitar and the lead solos on the album. The producer of the album was Beau Hill, and he stated in 2012 in an interview that Slammer did in fact play on the album. Beau actually said, this is quoting what he said, he says, he said to the band, the songs are really great, but I think we're a little weak in the solo department, so I would like to bring somebody in. Beau also stated that everybody in the band signed off on this, and everything was done above ground. So, well, you know, at least Beau was honest. He told them that you're a bit lacking on solos. I'll bring someone in that's pretty good. Mike Slammer had a good name, very good guitar player, and they all signed off it, and everyone was happy. So, who plays on this album? Well, we've got Yanni Lane on the lead vocals, of course, who sadly is no longer with us. Joey Allen was on rhythm guitar. Eric Turner on rhythm. Jerry Dixon on the bass. Stephen Sweet on the drums. Mike Slammer doing the guitar solos. Keyboards are done by Beau Hill, and backing vocals, and Becca Bramlett does the backing vocals. So, first track on this debut album, 32 Pennies. I like that opening riff. It's got lots of strong riffs. It's got these 2 guitars, and then you got Mike Slammer coming in doing all the licks and the screeching and all that sort of good stuff. Pretty good track. Second track is called Down Boys. Got some nice driving riffs. It's got that late 80s sound to it. It's not a bad track. I've got no problem with it. Big Talk. Nice guitar work on this, but overproduced drums. Sounds like, again, you know, keep the noise down, boys, you might disturb the neighbours, sort of thing. And it's sort of a hollow sound, and it doesn't work for me. Sometimes She Cries. I love the solo on this by Mike Slammer. It's a pretty good power ballad from the late 80s. Them real power chords driving down on. You can actually feel the plectrum going down on these chords. It's a really good track. So Damn Pretty. This is so hair metal, but I don't mind a little bit of hair metal. It's got some really good guitar work again from Mike Slammer. Got no problem with that. And then we get a track called D.R.F.S.R. There's nothing special about this one. It's just generic rock. Just what it says on the tin. It's not a bad track, but I'd say it's not the best. Then we get In the Sticks. Oh, this is the sound it was getting at the time, like from Motley Crue and Poison. It's the same formula, and I do like Poison. I am one of them, probably the only people in the world that likes Poison, because I like their basic rock and roll sound. It's a really good track. Heaven, typical rock ballad of the time, so I'm not very keen on that one. Ridin High, not a bad little track. Really good riffs, kick, a bit of a foot tapper, nothing wrong with that. Cold Sweat, nothing to do with Thin Lizzy's Cold Sweat. I would say this is the song of the time, but now when you listen to it now, boy does it sound dated. At the time I'd say it was pretty cool, but now you listen to it and go, oh yeah, this is definitely dated. I thought it's a really good album. Good start. I mean, what came after this album was a great album. So they laid the foundations. They got better at playing guitars, but on the whole, it's an enjoyable album. And it just takes you back to the day when hair metal ruled the world. So what did the critics think? Now, AllMusic gave this album a rating of 4 out of 5 stars, saying the album was slick and clean, built on processed guitars and cadaverous drums. It sounds exactly like a 1989 album. Dave Reynolds of Kerrang considers the album hardly outstanding, with only a bunch of distinctly average songs, and they gave it a 3 stars. In America it did well with the fans. It got to number 10 in 1990 on the Billboard chart. No sign of it in the UK, but it made number 72 in Australia. So let's have a look at the nuts and bolts of this. Song quality. There's some good songs on here, but they're still learning their trade. I don't think it's a bad album. It's not a brilliant album. So I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. Production. It's very 80s. So I'm not going to do it on. I'm going to do it for the time it came out. I'm not going to do it now. It sounds not as good, but okay. Back in the day, we didn't know no different, and it sounds crisp and clear, bit clean here and there. But on the whole, I can't mock it at all. So I'm going to give it, for production, another 3 out of 5. Okay, reception. It was a bit of a mixed bag from the critics. The American fans loved it. It was a top 10. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 for reception, which gives us a total for Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stink, Rich, a 10 out of 15. Okay, it's time to get in the time machine. Crank it up and go 28 years into the future for the 9th album. So in 28 years they've only put out 9 albums. And go to Louder, Harder, Faster, which was released in 2017. The album features long-time band members Eric Turner, Jerry Dixon, Joey Allen and Steve Sweet, along with Robert Mason, who was his second outing with the band since their last album, because sadly that Yanni Lane died. And it was produced by Docken's Jeff Pilson. First track is called Louder, Harder and Faster. What a track! Blows the cobwebs away, this does. They've certainly, Joey Allen certainly improved his guitar work. You know, it's brilliant. Great track. Devil Dancer. The bass line from Jerry Dixon on this is brilliant. Good little track. Perfect. Very generic. It doesn't. It's not something like I go wow. It's just there. Only Broken Heart. The drums sound really good on here. Steve and Sweet really pounds them. Proves what a reasonably good drummer it is. The guitar works okay. You in My Life. Again, one of them typical rock ballads. There's just nothing outstanding about it. Music Man, love this. I love the lyric in this, it's really good. Love the vocal style of Robert Mason. I think that's his name. Robert Mason, yeah. Got catchy tune, great guitar riffs, great little track. Faded. Nothing wrong with this. There's some really good riffs in this one. Again, a bit foot tappy. New Rebellion. Just good old fashioned boogie rock and roll here. There's nothing wrong with it. It's got a catchy hook. And it's very typical of this sort of glam metal-y type thing. Big Sandy. Another driving track. Great drumming on here. Another brilliant bass line from Jerry Dixon. Pretty cool track. Choose Your Fate. Not bad at all. Nice, just a nice, good, solid rocking track. Let It Go. Again, Mr. Dixon's bass is driving this song along. The rhythm guitar and lead guitar, these two guitarists really have, over the years, I've been listening to them and they've really got really good. And I don't mind that at all. I don't mind this album. It's probably one of their best albums since Dog Eat Dog. We'll talk about that a bit later. But I don't mind listening to this at all. I've listened to it a couple of times now because I hadn't really heard it, and I'm impressed, even though it's not Yanni Lane. The musicians are there and they're still as good as ever. There's not many reviews, but I did find some. This was a review done by Tyson Bryden in 2017. And he starts off with a very good point. He says, this is quoting what he said, I know I may annoy some of those traditional Warrant fans who just can't accept Warrant with any singer other than Yanni Lane. Trust me, I've read the post and I'm always vocal in my defence of this incarnation of Warrant. Unfortunately, Yanni Lane is no longer with us and there's nothing we can do about it, but his work will live on forever. I quite agree, and it's a very good statement on any band that changes has to change their lineup. Okay, sadly we've got Foo Fighters. Do you think they're going to pack in because sadly Taylor Hawkins is no longer with us? I don't think so. They'll remember him and remember his work he did with them, but they're not going to stop. They're still a working band. But what does Tyson goes on to say about this album? He says that this album is exactly what is given here: louder, harder, faster. Sometimes people talk, but never talk the walk. Warrant have walked the walk, and they have definitely provided listeners with what I may call the album of the year of that year, 2017. Well, that's not bad at all. And he says, my hats go off to Robert, Jerry, Eric, Joey and Stephen, who never disappoint me, and an honourable mention to Jeff Pilson. Another review I found was by WrestlingPinCenter.com. All in all, this album surpassed expectations. In fact, surpassed my younger favourite. It even surpassed my younger favourite band of the 21st century, Crazy Links, which was up to their standards. Bottom line said, if you're eager for more hard rock that makes you feel that fire in your belly, the way you once did as a youngster, listen to this. What did the fans think? Well, he only got to 97 in the Billboard charts. Top independent albums, it got to number 19, and Swiss album chart, it got to 19. It got to 98. Okay, let's have a look at the nuts and bolts of this one. Song quality. There's some very good songs on this. I really like the songs. It's happy, typical sort of glam metal sorts thing. Brilliant. So I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. Production. I can't knock the production on this. Jeff Pilson is a really good producer. Everything's crisp. And I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Reception. The critics loved it. Oh, I think it's a good album, but the fans sort of switched off on it. I don't know why. I think it's that sort of thing. Oh, it's not Yanni Lane. But looking at what the critics thought of it, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5, giving us a total for louder, harder and faster of 12 out of 15. So today's winner is this album. There's not much difference between any of them really. You know, you got to look at the times. Both good albums from a very good glam metal band. So let's have a quick look. Before we do that, I need a swig of coffee. Yeah, as you can notice, my voices are coming back to life, so it's not so sore now, so we can carry on. So let's have a look at some of the other albums in their catalogue. So 1990 was the next one. This is the one that everyone knows. It's Cherry Pie. We got Yanni Lane on here, Joey Allen, Eric Turner, Jerry Dixon and Steve and Sweet. Cherry Pie, love this when this song come out. It's a typical glam rock track and there's nothing wrong with that. Then we have Uncle Tom's Cabin, I Saw Red, Bed of Roses, Sure Feels Good to Me. Great rock track, really great bass line, thumping riffs, and they're both playing on here. No Mike Slammer, this is all Eric and Joey. Living Stereo, another good track on this album, really strong riffs, great vocal from Yanni, terrific singer, good stuff. Blind Faith, Song on and Dance Man, You're Only in Hell, Your Mama Ever Raised, Mr. Rainmaker. And the album ends up with a cover of Blackfoot's Train Train, and it's a great song anyway. Really love this song, and it's a great version of that song. Then in 1992 we got Dog Eat Dog. On here we've got Yanni, Joey, Eric, Jerry and Steve again. Keyboards are provided by Scott Warren. Machine Gun. Oh, wow, this is brilliant. It reminds me of some of that Judas Priest opening on some of the British Steel album. It's brilliant. Love that track. Love the vocal from Yanni on that. Absolutely brilliant. The Hole in My Wall's another good track. April 2031's okay. Andy Warhol was right. Not too bad. Bonfire. Great guitar licks in this one. Great track. The Bitter Pill. Hollywood, So Far So Good. All My Bridges Are Burning. Quicksand. Let It Rain. Then we get Inside Out, which is a really good song. Love the two guitars on this. Really brilliant. I love how they play off each other. It's a brilliant track. And then Sad Teresa. It's okay. Next up, in 1995, was Ultraphobic. Bit of a change round here. A couple of people have left. So we've got Yanni Lane on lead vocals, Eric Turner on rhythm guitar, Jerry Dixon. Joey Allen's gone, so we've got Rick Steiner coming in on guitars. Also Stephen Sweet has gone, so in comes James Kotak. And remember, James Kotak went on to play with the Scorpions, and keyboards were provided by Dave White. First track is Undertow, followed some really heavy riffs on this. It's not a bad track. Family Picnics, okay. Some of One, Chameleon, they're just generic. Cruel Space, love this track. I love the arrangement on it. It's pretty good. Live Inside You, it's alright. High. Rye 2's pretty good. Really like that one. Ultraphobic, little bit weak. It's just very genetic, going through the motions. Stronger Now. This is a acoustic number, and it's pretty good. Great vocal from Yanni. Really, really good. So next album was 1996, Belly to Belly. Again, we've had a few people. New drummer again. We've got Yanni Lane on the vocals, Eric Turner, Jerry Dixon, Rick Steer is still with them. Now on drums, replacing James Kotak, is Bobby Borg. Danny Wagner now plays keyboards. There's not many good tracks on this, I'm afraid. In the end, love the opening riff, and then it just fizzles away. Feels Good, Letter to a Friend, Angry Young Man, it's alright. Some nice dirty riffs in it. It's too grungy, and this album it's quite grungy. Indian Giver, I love the effects. It's got this guitar that sounds like a sitar, that's okay, but then it fades into some grunge. Falling Down, Interlude 1, Solid, All For You, Coffee House, Interlude 2, Vertigo. Room for a View's nice, it's quite a gentle track. Nobody Else. Okay, in 2001 out came another album, Under the Influence, 2001. It's a covers album, and on this we've got Yanni Lane, Eric Turner, Jerry Dixon. Bill Morris plays lead guitars and lead vocals on one track. I'll tell you what one that is in a moment. New drummer, Mike Fasano, and Mike Morris on keyboards. First track they do is Toys in the Attic, which is Aerosmith. Very good cover. I've got no problem with that. Hollywood, Down on Your Luck, the Thin Lizzy number. It's not too bad. Dead Jail or Rock and Roll from Michael Monroe. That's alright. Not particularly brilliant. Then we get Hair of the Dog. It just doesn't sound right without that growling Dan McCafferty vocal. It's pretty poor. Tie Your Mother Down from Queen is absolutely awful. Suffragette City, not a bad effort. Surrender from Cheap Trick, reasonable. Down Payment Blue, this is features Billy Morris on lead guitar and vocals. It's not a bad effort. I've got nothing wrong with that one. Then we get Come and Get It, which was done by Beatles, of course, and then Badfinger did a version of it. I'd say this is reasonable. Subhuman, which is a new track. Yanni Lane wrote this. It's not too bad at all. Face, it's alright. And sadly, that was the last album that Yanni Lane appeared on, because come 2006 he is no longer with us. He's left the band, and he sadly died after he'd left the band. So Born Again as a new lead singer. Joey Allen is back on guitars, Eric Turner's on guitars, Jerry Dixon's on bass, and Stephen Sweet is back on the drums. Pat Regan does the keyboards on this. Devil's Juice, I love this track. It's really got that old style Warrant. It's nice to see the engine room return. That sound is really good. Not a bad vocal either. Dirty Jack, that's alright. Bourbon County Line, I don't mind like that. Hell CA, it's okay. Angels again, okay. Lightning Strikes, like lightning, it's alright. Glimmer, good guitar solo on a mediocre track. Roller Coaster, do like this one, nice little rocker. Down in Diamonds, Velvet Noose, Roxy, and Good Times. Not very good. 2011 then we get Rockaholic, again new singer Robert Mason, which is he's a better singer, and then you've got Jerry, Eric, Joey and Steve on here. Sex Aint Love, love this, brilliant riffs, great track and great vocal from Robert Mason. Innocence Gone, very AC/DC, but there's nothing wrong with that. Snake, Dusty Revenge, Home are alright. What Can Love Do, the opening riff is brilliant, it's a really good track, like that one a lot. Life is a Song, it's reasonably good. Show Must Go On, great rock track, great drums from Steve Sweet, nice to see him banging the drums again, pretty cool. Cocaine Freight Train's pretty cool. Found Forever's got some nice riffs. Candyman, it's got more of them great driving riffs of glam hair metal, like that one a lot. Sunshine, Tears in the City, nice. The last track, Last Straw, love the vocal here from Robert Mason, fantastic track, really good. So that's their career. I think, you know, they went through a bad patch. There's some albums there that are pretty weak, but the last two albums are really turning it on again. I don't think they'll never beat Cherry Pie though. Probably their best album. I don't know. That could change. If anyone wants me to do a full ranking, you know what to do. So that's it really for this one. I'll be back later with some cultural album artwork to look at, and today we're doing one of my co-captains on the channel, Mr. Stats himself on the live stream, Dave. He loves White Nightwish and he loves their album covers, so I'm sure he'll be watching that one. Hopefully he'll be with us tonight on the live stream, but they're doing some work on the internet broadband where he lives. He's not quite sure if he'll be with us, but hopefully he will. So we'll be back for that later. So bye for now.